Well, today we're making it a little heavy. We're amping it up just a bit. We're excited to have the guys from Misfire. New albums dropping May 2nd. Product of the Environment. It's their second full length. And it doesn't stop there. They secured a support slot on the Bonded by Blood 40th Exodus tour with Havok. Guys, welcome to Metal Mayhem ROC. How you doing?
Great, man. Happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
you very much, man.
Well, congratulations. A lot of stuff going on in the Misfire camp. A lot of exciting stuff. Right off the bat, let's James, Nicodemus. I grew up with a family, and their last name was Nicodemus. Every one of those kids have the nickname of Nico. Did you have that growing up? Was that your appointed nickname?
No, I get Nick sometimes, Jimmy, which I don't like. But it eventually just kept, turned into Jim, and then James. And so I got a few different names. Yeah. It's one of those things. Nicodemus, though, you pronounced it properly. That's not something that a lot of people get correct. But yeah, Nicodemus is right.
Yeah,
there's a couple guys. I never got Nico, but Nick was a thing.
Yeah, these are like four brothers, the Nicodemus brothers, and they played sports, and they were great dudes. But it was like Nico the sicko. The dude was a linebacker. So when I saw the press release, I'm like, Nicodemus, nice. So
I like that. Maybe I'll use that.
Yep,
You're
free.
definitely going by that from now on, man. Thank you for this, by the way.
You're welcome. So Chicago, I love Chicago. Reggie's, Michael's Troubles from there, Witch Slayer, Legions of Doom. Are you guys all from Chicago, or it's just sort of it got appointed when you started moving along with the band?
We're all from the Chicagoland area, with the exception of Costa. Costa, you tell them where you're from, man.
I'm from Macedonia, Eastern Europe, but I live in Chicago.
Well, welcome to the States. We're glad to have you. That's awesome.
Thanks.
How'd you get to America? How'd this work out?
Well, I moved here a few years ago, and I always wanted to move here and living my dream, and here it is, living the dream.
Well, that's awesome. You guys have a fun, I don't know if it's a fun story. You do have a story. 2021, what was the album? The Sympathy for the Ignorant. Basically what I got out of it was like enhanced demos, but that band sort of like those guys dissolved, and now you have you guys. How did you get to 2025 in this version of Misfire?
Well, there was, the previous members, for lack of a better term, bit off more than they can chew, and their lives just kind of got in the way of what we were doing. So we had to replace our guitar player vocalist to do the Warbringer tour in 22. And we, got Tim and Costa in the band. So they've been in the band for 3 years. And after that tour, our bass player left. So we had to find another bass player. And it was just one of those things that, like, when you get to this level where you're doing things like this, interviewing all the time, and it becomes a professional band, some people realize that it's not exactly what they thought they were going to be a part of, So we have the right people now. It took a few years to get it right, but this album is a testament to what we went through to get there, and what we're going to be moving forward. And I think this is the way, and this is the way of the future for this band. I don't plan on making any more lineup changes. I want this to be the band moving forward. These are some of my best friends, and we're all like-minded. We're all on the same page. We all have the similar influences, and we all bring something to the table individually that is really important to this project. And I love the guys too. So no more drama,
Drama, you guys, outside of like sharing tour buses, you have to write together. It's not the hour on stage. It's the 23 hours and the day in and day out. You have to get along. Would you consider this a reboot? Like the band's really starting now? Because I'm not familiar with the first release. I'll have to go back and check it out. But how does the music differ between the two?
It's similar, it's similar writing styles, but I think, you know, especially having Costa in the band has been he's been really helpful just trimming the fat and making the songs get right to the point. Like, okay, we're playing this part four times or 8 times. Okay, well, this is too long. It's ruining the vibe. Okay, well, now I have someone that's contributing to those ideas. And Dan and Tim with the lyrics and the vocal stuff. So it's like, I don't know. It just feels like we're in a band again. It's a really a good position to be in, and I'm honestly super grateful that we got to this point. So
For sure. It's rewarding to have people you could shoot ideas across and back and forth. Tim, how does your vocal approach differ from the guy that was singing before?
I think there's much more clarity in the vocals from the first record. I think you can understand the lyrics a little bit more, and the vocal range I think is different. I try to do some more of the dirty sounding vocals with some fucking really higher fucking screams and stuff to it, which like I think there's more variety in the vocal tone for sure.
absolutely.
Costa, what about you? What's your influences? What kind of guitar, if you were to label your guitar sound, who would it be like? Who's your influence?
That's very hard to answer. Like
I
only
know,
one guitar there, but I would say like the solos that I did, I was more focused to make them more simple and like more memorable and easy to sing them. Like Adrian Smith and I'll say Chuck Schuldiner from that, simple melodic. There are still a lot of all the guitar technicals that you can use like tapping and all that stuff, shredding. But I wanted to make them more simple, easy to understand. That was my approach to this album.
Easily digestible, get in, get out, because it's 12 songs on the new one, but they stay in that 3 to 4.5 minute range. Correct me if I'm wrong, which is, like I said, it's easily digestible. It's you get in and get out. Before we get into the album, because like I said, I have my notes. You guys are rooted in thrash, old school thrash. James, who would some of your heroes be? Because after listening to this, I think I could fill in the blanks here. I just want to hear you say it.
Sure. Well, Metallica. Okay. I mean, there was a period of my life where that's like when I was in high school, that's all I listened to. Like the first 4 or 5 albums, that's it. Like for a whole year, and then I got into Megadeth, and I think you can hear, you can hear a little bit of that. There's of course Pantera, Prong influence. There's Anthrax influence. There's Death influence. There's freaking Rammstein influence. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff. I listen to all kinds of stuff, but the obvious ones are probably the ones I just mentioned. Yeah, Exodus, of course. Thing, riff, that's kind of AC/DC, I guess, because without AC/DC, you wouldn't have some of the Metallica and Exodus stuff. So,
Sure, Malcolm. God rest his soul. He was the man. But that pretty much answers. Those are the answers I had. I hear Exodus in there. I hear the Metallica. I hear I grew up on all that. Maybe later in the show, I'll tell you about me and Metallica and Kill 'Em All. That's something I can share with you.
Oh, I'd love to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I live in Rochester, New York.
Right on.
So if you're a Metallica fan, you know what that's all about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Let's
excited.
see. Product of the Environment, 12 songs, nice mixture. A couple of my notes, the 3 thrashers that I'm into. Born to Die, classic thrash vibes right from the start, groovy breakdowns. Tell us about this song. Your interpretation of the song.
Cool. That's one that was written and on a previous EP that Costa and I kind of took apart and made a whole bunch better. We took some things out. We added that middle section and the solo section, and kind of revamped the original idea of it. But we just I don't know. We wanted something different for the middle section, and one of my favorite things is when this tempo stays the same, but you go from 16th notes or 16th note straight notes to 16th note triplets. And that feel change is always just something that like Dream Theater has done, and a few progressive bands have done, like Opeth and stuff like that. That just those moments on those records is just like, oh my God, And I wanted to recreate something similar to that. So with the help of Costa's riffing, that new middle section came about, and that's one of my favorite moments on the record. Also, yeah.
Another Thrash favorite of mine, Twist of Fate. I love the gang vocals, and it just Costa just finishes with that killer solo. How'd this song come about? What was the vision behind it?
I wanted to make super fast song, old school thrash in your face, and we achieved what we wanted to achieve with that song, I guess.
Yeah, you wanted the melody, right?
Yeah,
you wanted the ripping
aggression,
solo.
the melody, the groove, the bridge, the slow down bridge, then faster with the melody,
Yeah,
That's all the things
all
we
that
like
good
about
stuff.
Thrash. Yeah.
yeah, all the good stuff, all the
Yeah.
ingredients to make the thrash cake.
Yeah.
Let's see. The single, We Went Through Hell.
Mhm.
Is it just what you went through hell in the last 3 years? Is it pretty self-explanatory?
It's pretty much that. Yeah, this band almost broke up because of, stupid reasons, and that's our anthem about getting through, whatever you got on your plate, and saying, you know what? Write a song about it. Whatever you got to do, move on. Not
Sure,
gonna let
sure.
anything stop you.
Tim, your vocal style. Some say it's a combination of Mustaine with a little Anselmo sprinkled in. How do you find your niche in all this? You get your voice within the uh, melodic structure of these songs.
You just named the two that are definitely two of the biggest influences for me vocally. I think my vocal style just came about from singing along to those songs in the car years ago. But yeah, no.
That's how you became a singer? Just
Well, well, that's how I developed. I play a few different versions of music. I have a punk band at home, but Misfire is my number one thing, obviously, and
yeah.
I've been in metal bands a couple throughout my life and stuff. So for the metal vocal style I do, I definitely say I developed that from just singing along to Pantera, Metallica, Megadeth, even Alice in Chains and stuff. I just singing along in the car. That's where I kind of just pieced my voice together.
Well, that early Alice in Chains, it was great
Oh yeah.
stuff. There was remember back in I think 91, they had that opening slot on the Clash of the Titans, the
Yeah,
Slayer,
they got
Megadeth, Anthrax.
it was pretty rough from them, from what I heard, right?
Well, I saw that tour, but the first couple shows, but then they started winning people
Fuck
over,
yeah.
and yeah, well, when Kerry King says, "Hey, fucking, give them a shot because I dig them," all the Slayer people they fall in line. So, yeah,
Oh
they're a
yeah.
great band. Saw them many times. Let's see. The last song, the title track, "Product of the Environment," delivers a relentless pace. A climatic final solo, an epic ending to the album. This is showing my age. Great closer. One of those makes you want to flip the album over and start all over again.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah. Yeah, that one's one of my favorites. Also, it's the most challenging, I think, rhythmically, because the entire time it's like on the offbeat, but everything else is going. Like the drums and the vocals are at this part, and then like the guitar and the bass are like here, and it's kind of just like clashing in the coolest way the whole time. And yeah, and that also features Rob Cavastani from Death Angel, which is huge.
Yeah.
There's like a that section with the three different solos in there with Alex and Costa and Rob. That was something that I totally didn't expect to have on the album, and now we have this epic solo section at the end of the record. Just super awesome.
well, you tip my hand because I was going to get to Left for Dead. And you have a cameo by Rob Dukes of Exodus.
Mhm.
Did the song, the style, it's sort of like an Exodus song. Did you create the song and then thought Rob would be great for it? or did you get Rob and you thought, oh, let's write an Exodus type vibe song?
No, that song was written like 3 years ago. Uh, the Rob thing actually came through Costa, so Costa can explain that one.
Well, yeah, we got the song, and we recorded everything, and we were, oh, do we want any vocal guests? And the story is like Exodus was my very first thrash metal concert in my life back in 2012. I saw them in Macedonia, where I came from, and we arrived there early, helped them out, and I got a chance to take a picture with him and Jack, the bass player. And moving forward, I moved here, joined Misfire. And 2 years ago, when we played the Milwaukee Metal Fest, I ran into Rob Dukes at the backstage area, and I went to say hi to him, and we started talking, and I mentioned that show, and I showed him the picture of us. We spent like maybe more than 2 hours just talking, and we became friends. We start following each other on social media, talking from time to time. And when we were thinking about asking someone to be a guest on our song, I knew who to ask first. And I asked
All
him,
right.
and yeah, the answer was a real quick yes. So that's how it happened.
That's awesome. And one thing, after years of following bands, meeting bands, talking to bands, I've come to realize that it's sincere that these guys, they remember. So he really became friends with you, and sometimes we put these guys on pedestals. At the end of the day, it's just like these are just normal dudes, and it's how you relate with them. So that's awesome that a chance meeting leads to a 2-hour discussion, and then he's on the band. Is that how it led to getting on this tour? How did that happen?
That was kind of, well, you would think so, right? But it didn't work out like that. Before we asked Rob, that was before he rejoined Exodus, So
Yeah.
we had no clue that was going on. And it just so happens that our manager, our management, also manages Exodus. So it was just like, hey, we have a new album coming out. Let's give these guys a chance, kind of thing. Um,
Okay.
because we're on the same management company, so it was kind of easier for us to get an opportunity like this, which I'm super stoked and super grateful for. It's not something you get every day to be touring with Exodus.
No, not at all, especially with the 40th anniversary Bonded by Blood.
Oh,
You
right.
know, that's awesome. And then Havok, Havok,
Mhm.
they're a great band. Where are they from? Colorado?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're from
Yeah,
Denver.
Yeah.
yeah. I saw them with Megadeth maybe 4 or 5 years ago. The years zip by so quick. They're a good band.
Yeah, I actually worked for them. Was it 2 summers ago on their headlining tour? I'm a lighting guy. I do lights for bands and stuff. So
Uh-huh.
I did a tour with them, and yeah, they're good friends now, and it's just another reason I'm looking forward to this thing. To be honest, it's just going to be the thrash-tastic tour of all time with buddies. It's going to be sick.
You better patent that, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Write it
Yeah,
down here.
that could be your retirement. So, uh, so,
Thrash-tastic.
so the tour, playing B markets, it looked like, and there's nothing wrong with B markets. We're a B market.
Sure.
How many dates is this, and how long is your set?
It's 11, I think 11 shows. We're trying to add a few because there's kind of a long drive from North Carolina back home. And any little bit helps. So we're gonna see if we can get a couple shows on the way back. If it'll be with Havok, if it'll be just us, I'm not sure. But as of now, it's 11 shows. There's a couple days off. Um, yeah. What was the other part of the question?
How long is your set?
Oh, 30 minutes. Yeah, we get 30 minutes each night.
You mix up the set list, or it's straight 5, 6 songs?
I think we're going to be able to fit 7 in
7,
there.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're mostly going to be playing new stuff since, it's the new lineup and stuff, but we're gonna play either Red Flag or He Said She Said from the first album each night.
Tim, what are you looking forward to on this tour?
Definitely seeing the new markets we've never been to, and you know, obviously touring with some fucking legends here, man. I'm pinching myself. I'm telling someone to pinch me every fucking morning. I'm waking up. I still can't believe this is a thing. This is just a complete honor. It's for all of us. This is a moment we've been like striving for our whole music career of like 20 years, you know. So it's I I can't. There's so much that I can't even just put it into fucking words, man.
That's awesome, man. I'm so happy for you. You're so excited. Are there any warm up dates? Are you playing other on offs, or it's you're putting all your attention towards this tour?
It's just all for this tour for now. You know, we got a couple rehearsals lined up, but not for as far as playing. It's just going to be these 11 shows or whatever it is, and then we got some stuff lined up for later in October and November. We can't mention it yet, but it's a hell of a fucking awesome tour we're piecing together. Also, that's you'll probably hear in the next couple of months. You'll find out about it.
Yeah, I think we're announcing that. We're probably going to announce that stuff after this tour, you know. So, and we
what
will
about
be in your area.
Oh, you coming up to Western New York?
Pretty sure. Yeah, pretty sure.
All right,
Can't
all
say
right.
for sure, but I'm pretty sure.
What about the summer? Are you playing? You writing? You just
We're
on
gonna be doing some
pause?
writing. We're gonna spend the summer hopefully getting a jump start on album number 3. You know, you probably won't hear that album for at least 2 years. We're gonna really promote Product of the Environment really hard over the next year and a half, 2 years. But we got some time off. Unless something big comes up over the summer, we're probably gonna stay home and just get a jump start on writing the next record.
You know, you mentioned earlier in the conversation Warbringer, and there's bands like Gatekeeper, Morning High, Aletheia from Cleveland, Displacer from here in Rochester. What's your take on the state of thrash metal and metal in general in 2025?
Well,
It's still alive. It's doing well. There's still young new bands coming out. We're a younger new band coming out, and we see even younger bands than us, like even high school kids, still trying to keep this thing alive. So I think thrash metal is doing just fine.
I agree with that because I'm 57. I'm an old guy, but part of the mission statement of Metal Mayhem ROC is we're a bridge for young dudes to get up to speed on how it used to be, but more importantly, older dudes get up to speed on what's going on now. You know, you get some of these old crusty guys and they're like, they don't make bands like we used to. I'm like, well, do you look? Do you,
Right.
there's more than enough stuff out there. You know, you just have to get out. Well, I don't know. I go, well, you fucking listen to my show. You watch what we're doing. No, I don't find it. It's like, you know how to,
try harder.
you know how to click a link. So, you know, and I love the, I love the thrash. I love your guys' sound. I love the, like new wave of traditional heavy metal bands that are out there. You know, like, there's tons of them. Road Wolf, Lone Shark. There's just there's just tons of them. Like Costa's style of playing, killer leads, killer drums. Like you said, Tim, you just want to hear the vocals. You know, get in and get out. So that's my soapbox. But you guys are doing a great job. I look forward to it. It's too bad you're not coming around here with this tour. If someone were to go to a Misfire show, what do you want them to walk away? What do you want their impression of the band to be?
I want that. I'd like them to walk away going, "Fuck, man, we just got our ass kicked in that pit, and man, that music made us move. We wanted to move, but we also wanted to watch and listen. So like, we want people. We love the people that are beating the hell out of each other, and we also appreciate the people that are just using their eyes and ears and really observing the show. So we want people to walk away with the full experience."
There was a comment from someone that went to a show and they're like, "Oh my God, they're my new favorite band." That would be cool if everyone could do that. That'd be great. You know, that's the mission.
Well, you know, Tim, you're up front, and well, James, you're behind the kit, and you know, Dan's not here to give his impression. But Costa, you guys, let me ask you this: can you tell if the crowd is into it, and when do you realize that you have them coming in, and you guys maybe look at each other and you talk afterwards? Like, describe that moment when you know you have that band, when you have that crowd hooked in.
Usually after the first song, when you get that pop reaction from the audience, usually, like I said, we're a band that likes to get people moving, but we also like to have people just watching and being entertained. And I'm up front, and I'm always just being observant of that. And man, you like I said, there's the pop that clarify. Like when people all explode at the end of the first song, that's usually a good indicator that you're doing well. It's also great when you see people like hardly blinking or talking, and phones are put away, and we seem to always have people's attention. So yeah, that's
Yeah. Being a new band, I mean, most people like don't get into it too crazy, but luckily enough, by the second chorus of some of these songs, people that have never heard them before start singing the stuff. Usually by the second or third song, people are like, "Oh shit, this is legit." I'm usually completely in my head having an anxiety attack, trying to just focus on my drums, so I don't really pay attention to any of that shit. I'm just trying to lay it down. So
I pay attention, and I also love when we're doing all over the place and Born to Die. So when the sections that we're changing the tempo and the people are not expecting that, or like
yeah,
hearing the songs for the first time, and I'm just looking them in the eyes, and it's fuck
yeah,
There
yeah.
you who does the set list and what kind of sequencing goes into this? Like, I'd love to be a fly on the wall when you guys are doing this. Like, no, let's open with this, and that doesn't work the second song, and we got to finish with this. How much effort do you put in to the sequencing?
We
Quite,
usually
quite.
change it often. It
Yeah,
depends, because we have two different tunings. So we're deciding, oh, let's end with drop D instead of the standard. But usually for opening tracks, we have like 2 or 3 that we usually want to use. Like probably we're gonna mostly use the opening track of the album for this tour and for the
Yeah.
following tours. That will be most likely, but we might change something.
Yeah,
yeah,
things definitely change in this band, man. We'll spend 3 weeks rehearsing a set list out, and then like 10 minutes before it's showtime, like, hey, fuck that. Put these 2 songs first.
yeah,
I'm not a musician, so when Costa started explaining the limitations and the hurdles of down to different keys, that never even gets into my mind. I'm just like, oh, that would be a sick. That song is killer
yeah.
next. Well, you guys are young, Tim. You don't have to worry as much to like, oh, we better sing this song, do the song first because, if I do it at the end, I mean, it may be a little more tough to sing it.
Oh,
There
I
is that to
definitely
think
have
about.
it. I
Yeah,
would, as far as vocals go, I definitely like to have some input, but I love all these songs, so I just want them all to be fucking played. But some of these songs are a breeze to sing, just like as far as harshness on the vocal pipes, and some of them can take a little bit more juice. But like I said, I just want them all to be played at the end of the day. So I'm pretty content with whatever we come up with for a set list.
same with the drumming. I mean, we all have to consider like what like we're physically doing for these songs. Plus, we don't have ballads, so you can't go all the way down to the slowing things down completely. So it's pretty much just like, all right, let's do like a couple fast ones, and then like a medium one, like a couple fast ones, and a medium one, and then like change tunings, you know. But it
Well,
just changes.
Yeah, we don't want to change guitar on every song. So
Yeah,
no, I do want to jump back to the product of the environment and make an observation. Was Borrowed Time your like beginning of Battery or the beginning of Fight Fire?
I always
okay,
think of that when I hear it, and I love that. I love records that have that fucking build up intro, and I can totally see where
yeah.
you could get that from. Definitely.
Also, "Borrowed Time" is the name of the album that Metallica or Diamond had "Am I Evil" and the couple of Metallica songs that
Oh,
Metallica covered. So that album was called "Borrowed Time." Also, I think we're living on borrowed time in this band. I mean, we pretty much imploded, and also that's a song that Tim brought to the table, which I think is just an absolute amazing way to open the album, with something coming from him that's just saying, "All right, guys, here we go.
and I
Time
think
to
that was
party."
the last song we did on the album.
Yep,
Like
that's the
we
last time
made,
we put together. Yep.
yeah.
well, the first thing when I got the press release, I watched the video, And then I was into it. So I reached out to the publicist. I'm like, yeah, sign me up. Let me talk to these guys. And then I went to the gym and I'm on the treadmill and I started listening to it. And I heard the Borrowed Time and then the first song. I'm like, I see what these guys are doing here. All right, I'm feeling this vibe. This is all right. This is all right. Couple fun questions. Any pre-show ritual? Any guilty pleasure song no one would expect you're listening to get in the mood?
Up, down, up. There's an Arnold Schwarzenegger song by what it was Luke Milton or something that we were jamming in the studio just to kind of get out of our heads in the studio. So I think we're gonna have that as our not as our intro music, but like before the intro comes on. That's just something that like makes us laugh and
That magic happened at the studio. I was, recording team and putting some video on social media, and I just put, because we were watching Terminator 2 in the background, on the TV, and I just put, Schwarzenegger on Instagram for the reel, and that music showed up, and we were laughing really hard, and we were, okay, that's the song, that's our ritual now.
Yeah.
Well, you need
outside of that, it's just, kind of trying to warm up a little bit. Don't go too crazy, but just try to get out of your head and, tell the guys, let's have a good show and, just have a good time.
I know the touring schedule, you don't have that many years behind you, but what's the most metal moment you've had or experienced on stage or off stage?
I don't know, guys.
My personal favorite metal moment we had on stage was we were on our tour with Heathen and Warbringer, and it was the last show of that tour. It was a Saturday night, October 1st, 2022. I was at the legendary Whiskey A Go Go, which is a legendary fucking club in this industry, and we had that fucking room spinning, people just fucking moshing from
it was crazy.
Fucking 5 seconds into the song until five seconds after the whole show concluded. They were just going the entire time. So that legendary place being sold out, that was, and just seeing that fucking reaction in that room was pretty awesome.
That's awesome. Costa, what do you recall? Anything in your short time with the guys?
I would say the same as Tim. Like that was like a dream come true to us, playing the Whiskey Go Go, and every moment was special, It was crazy.
It was pretty metal breaking down in the middle of nowhere in Oregon. That was pretty metal.
Yeah, we were going down a mountain in our first automobile, our first touring van. That was like a 1995 fucking whatever. It was not
best buy of all time.
Yeah, it was like 10:30 in the morning. We were on our way to play a show in Portland, Oregon, and Costa was driving. I was riding shotgun, and the rest of the band was asleep. And the transmission gave out going down a literal fucking mountain, and
it started shifting, like it lost the third gear, I think, and it was just shifting between second and fourth.
Yeah, second, yeah. That was pretty metal though. That's pretty cool.
Here's a fun one. Each of you, what's the first album you bought with your own money?
Ooh. I think Kid Rock, American Badass, or like Smash Mouth. Like I got into music like around that time. It was totally not metal at all. But it was like I was like what, like 11 years old, buying like the Smash Mouth record that was on that Trek movie or whatever. Yeah, not metal, and then Kid Rock. But Kid Rock, they had that song American Badass, which had the sample of Sad But True. So that was like, oh, what's that riff? I got to figure out what that is, and eventually found out it was Metallica.
Yep.
The first record I ever purchased was I had CDs, my parents and my brother would, hand down to me or buy for me. But the first one time I had money and I could go buy one, I was in the 5th grade. I'm a punk rock fan, and I will forever be a fan of punk. I bought that album and Out Come the Wolves by Rancid.
Okay.
So
I keep forgetting I'm like 25 years older than you guys. What about you, Costa? What's the first thing? And it doesn't have to be metal. It's just
it's metal. I think the first one I bought with my own money, I think it was Brave New World from Iron Maiden.
Oh, love it. Love Brave New World.
That's way cooler. Way cooler than my answer.
Well, I'm sorry. How do you pronounce your country? Macedonia?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's how they roll over there. They're
Yeah. Hell yeah.
that's over there. So, well, you know what? I promised you at the beginning of the show, and I'll share my little story with Metallica. 1983, the spring, right around now, Metallica comes up to my hometown, Rochester, New York, to record Kill 'Em All. And me and my buddies, being young metalheads, found out about this. So,
Fuck it.
yeah. So one day we're down at the local park where, hanging out with, misbehaving 14-year-olds would do, jamming fucking Maiden on the boombox. My buddy comes down. He's like, I just met this little guy from this band, like they're called Metallica. He says they're gonna be huge because he had the autograph. Well, my buddy's father owned a taco store right next to Music America, and that's where Metallica ended up recording the album. And through the whole history, I became friends with the people that recorded the album, drove Metallica around, and my radio career began in high school, and I had a chance to interview the band when they came to town in 1986. And though we started a relationship with the band, in about a year and a half ago, we had Kirk Hammett on the show with the second chair engineer from the Kill 'Em All session. And that guy, they drove him around for 6 weeks, and they had a huge reunion. We have tons of pictures in this video. And we were in Boston last summer, and they all got together. We're going to Syracuse in 2 weeks to see them again. So I invite you guys I'll send you the links to the Metal Mayhem ROC YouTube channel and this video with Kirk. And I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if you ever had a chance to meet Metallica.
Not,
What's that?
not yet.
Honestly, the biggest band in the world, and have to be the most down to earth guys. They really are. They go above and beyond. And so the name is the making of Kill 'Em All, the secrets to Kill 'Em All. It's filled with over 80 never seen before pictures of in the studio for Kill 'Em All, stories with photos to go along with it. So
Awesome. I will absolutely check that out. That's fantastic.
yeah.
That's one hell of a remarkable story, man. That's fucking badass. Thanks for sharing that with us.
So up here in Rochester, New York, we have a strong metal history. The House of Guitars, I don't know if you're familiar with it. A huge metal history, the Penny Arcade. So thankfully I had a chance to grow up in the golden age of metal and saw these bands that you guys are successfully carrying the torch from. So again, kudos to you guys. What's the best way to stay in touch with Misfire in this social media age? I'm going to have you share the locations.
Yeah, dude. Fucking Facebook, Instagram, any of that good stuff. But to really get to know us, come out to one of them shows, man. We love to hang out. We'll be at the merch table. Yeah, we'd love it if you bought something. You don't have to, but please come say hi either fucking way, and that'd be a good way to get to meet Misfire.
It's misfireofficial.com. You can kind of get to all of our other social medias from there. But Misfire Official pretty much everywhere. I think the only differential is on Twitter where it's Misfire Metal, but everywhere it's Misfire Official.
Sure, and this will be all posted in these links. Again, the album Product of the Environment comes out May 2nd. The tour with Exodus and Havok starts April 27th, goes about 15, 16 dates. And contrary to what Tim just said, get your ass to the merch page, buy a shirt, buy a CD. The guys will sign it and get on board because it's happening. Guys, one last question before we get out of here. If Misfire had a motto, what would it be?
Put up or shut up.
Okay.
Stay true to yourself. Stay true to metal. Thrash metal forever.
Asta?
I'll say the same.
Okay.
I agree with them, yeah.
I'm going to give you one more because we're in pre-production for a special Maiden show to when they kick off their Run for Your Life tour. What's your favorite Iron Maiden album?
Seventh Son of the Seventh Son.
Seventh Son of the Seventh Son. And why is that?
That album changed my life. That was, I think, the first thing I heard from them, and it became my favorite thing. And I remember it since I remember the earliest memory of myself. 3 or 4 years old. Yeah.
That's fucking heavy, bro. Well, that's awesome.
Listening on vinyl.
What's that?
I was listening it on vinyl.
Ah, well, yeah. That. How are you? Why you got it on vinyl?
Yeah, I got it at home. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. That's awesome. So, all right, guys. Hey, thanks for the time. Best of luck in anything we could do here. You know, reach out, stay in touch, and I look forward to this a big announcement. How somehow it affects up in my area, my neck of the woods. But
Yeah, that's looking like October-ish. So we should be announcing that soon. So
all right, cool. All right, again, the band, Misfire, the album, product of your environment, May 2nd, get it and jam it and always stay heavy. For the band, I'm the Vernomatic, and we will see you next time. Keep it heavy.
Metal for life.
Thank you for listening to Metal Mayhem ROC. Check out our website at metalmayhemroc.com for information on podcasts, archives, links to all our live radio shows, and all sorts of info. Please like, follow, and share with everyone, even your non-metal friends. And always remember to keep it heavy.